Dad said, 2. I said, Pete, are you crazy? You could lose both of them. I said, 2. My mother was one of the very first women in South Texas to have a cesarean operation. They tell me that I was all when I got out, but we both survived. My mother couldn't have any more children, so I had no brothers, no sisters. But I had the best parents that you can imagine. As I'm growing up, I loved marbles. I had a good shooter. Man, I could play those marbles. And I found that a block from where we live in Sinton, my cousin had a big bag of marbles. And so I would go over there and help the marbles into my pocket. And so I was doing this for a number of days. And one day, I came into the garage where my uncle would go back and forth with his truck. And I found right where the truck would go a picture of the Virgen de Guadalupe. And I thought, Lord, now I'm about 5, now I'm not a big kid, but I'm thinking, my Lord, here's the Virgen telling me that I'm stealing and I have to stop. Now I'm here to tell you that have not been perfect all my life, but I do tell you that Diosito and the Virgen have been with me, and they are today. I have that picture still in my house. Every morning I get up and say, God, it's going to be a great day, Diosito. And I say, Virgen, it's going to be a great day. And that has been my philosophy from day one. We lived in Welder's Ranch. My dad was a vaquero, bodyguard, chauffeur, and it had to be, he could be a cook. And if you can imagine, and then we moved from the Welders Ranch to Sinton. And my dad had one other brother and 3 sisters. My mother was the 13th, and her mother died when she was born. She never talked about that, but I know how tough that had to have been. Because I came very close to causing the same thing to her. But you have to visualize that my parents, now my dad never went past the 1st grade. He found a window and went out and never came back. But he was a very smart man, good man. When mother was the aristocrat, I mean, she just went all over, she's in charge, And when Dad looked at her real hard, it stopped. I did something terrible one day. My dad bought me a Red Ryder BB gun. Oh, was he proud of that. And we would go to Welders Ranch every Sunday. And so I got the gun and I shot a pigeon off a water tank. My Lord, I'm crying and look what I did. Man, that's good. He was so proud of me. He took it home and cooked it and everything, and I'm thinking, I will never shoot another animal in my life. And to this day I haven't. But he was so tickled with that, And of course, I'm going to tell y'all something else that I did. And I must have been a terrible kid. I put a little sand in the BB gun. Mother is feeding the chickens. Oh, boy, can you imagine the world is going to end? Because she's going to, you know. And she said, wait till your daddy gets home. And I thought, oh, Lord, oh, the world will end. Well, Dad came home, very calm, Mama's just going a mile a minute. And my dad never said a word, but he sort of cracked a smile. He was on the couch, I don't know how many months after that episode of my son shooting Mama with sand. I didn't put a BB gun, that was good, but I shot her. Anyway, so we moved from Sinton to Houston in 1941. My aunt and her husband were working at the shipyard. And you can visualize 1941, a lot of y'all were not here then, but that's, and he was working at the Houston shipyard. And my dad, now, you have to visualize that when we walked into this house off of North Main, Hensley, there's a factory now, it's not a Homes anymore. But our taxi cab couldn't find where are they? And I thought, oh Lord, here we are, we got $20 and that's it. We're in a strange city and we can't even find the place where we're supposed to go. But we found it, and many years later I found out the reason they couldn't find it was even cops wouldn't go down that street. So, you know, it was a tough area. And when we walked into the house, 5 other families and us in that house. And you understand about houses being, so I remember walking to the back of the house and I said, Mama, what is that? That's where you go to the bathroom. I said, you do? I had never seen an indoor toilet in my life. That was the first time that I had seen an indoor toilet. So from there, how much?
20 minutes.
20 minutes, okay, I got plenty of time. Y'all relax. Okay, so we moved from there to Houston Avenue, right about above Almost Garage, and I went to Hawthorne. Now prior to that, I had gone to a Catholic school for 1st grade and 2nd grade, and I lived in the barrio. So when you live in the barrio, you know, the other side is todos los bolios and everybody else. But across the street was an African-American church. And they would just go wild and say, Mama, what's happening? She said, Joe Lewis just knocked somebody out. If y'all know Joe Lewis, then you're with me. So that's the setup when we got to Houston. But anyway, Houston Avenue, and I went to Hawthorne. The Catholic schools were full, so I had to go to a public school. Of course, I tell my kids that I walked 10 miles from the barrio to Catholic school. We went back, and actually, it was 2 miles, but I still tell my kids 10 miles. That's a long, can you imagine a little kid going to school every day for 2 years? That 2 miles is still a long way. Anyway, went to Hawthorne. Put your name up. I got Pito Hilardo Knows. I said, Pete. Yes. That's good. Where do you live? I said, I live 2 blocks down. Where do you live? I said, I live. From that point on, I was a total idiot. I did not know where I lived. I repeated the 3rd grade. They never asked me